Hey guys, welcome back to the Geek Box, and we're looking again at another top 10 list, and today I'm going to be doing my top 10 game fusions. Now, when I say game fusion, I mean two games that I'd love to see stuck together, as in a character living in the world of the other one and having that experience, or elements of the two games morphed together. But these are just 10 games that I've thought of that I think would cross over quite nicely, or just for me personally like to see. Obviously, as always, I'd love to hear in the comments down below what you guys think and what games you'd like to see placed together and why, so I can really get my hand up, because I'm sure you guys have got some amazing ideas out there. Well, if you haven't already, please feel free to hit the subscribe button and the like button to stay up to date on all the latest content on this channel and support me, which I always appreciate. And remember as well, this video is sponsored by our friends over at Dubby. For a clean energy drink, you can use the code TheGeekBox and get 10% off at the checkout. That's with Dubby energy drinks. Anyway, it's enough with the rhetoric. Let's get into the video.
僕の周りでとんでもなく不思議な事件が起きたからです。こんな謎を解明できるのはやっぱり僕とレイトン先生しかいませんよね。多分。というわけで事件の詳しい資料を同封しておきました。先生と僕の新たな冒険の始まりですね。では。
Welcome to Disney Dreamlight Valley, a brand new life simulation game filled with adventures, mysteries, and beloved Disney and Pixar friends. The valley was once a happy and magical place.
So, starting us off is Professor Layton and Disney's Dreamlight Valley. Now, the Professor Layton games on the DS I absolutely loved. Just the whole searching, going through the mysteries, figuring things out, and how the story itself was portrayed to me was just, it was done perfectly. And in the world of Disney Starlight Valley, you have, for those that have played it, you know, a growing world that you influence, which has got the Disney villains and the heroes in it. And I think there's a lot of stories that can be told there, and the game itself does cover that as well, as you build up your friendships, etc. throughout the game. But to have mysteries between what's happened between the villains and the heroes in the Disney world put together, I think there'd just be one person that'd be suited to solve those mysteries and dig out all those clues, and that's Professor Layton, and of course followed by Luke. So the two of these together feels like it would be a great fusion that fans of both franchises could really enjoy. Metal Gear Solid and Siphon Filter. Now, for those that were around in the 90s to 2000s, they'll know these were the two stealth action genre games that were put side by side. Metal Gear Solid and Siphon Filter, it generally became the stealth Mario and Sonic. You played one or the other. Me, Metal Gear Solid fan all the way to the core. I even played the original Metal Gear games before Metal Gear Solid, so I was already set on the path. But for those that played those two games, they'll know that they are both great game series, and also they acknowledge each other as well, especially if you have references between the two games amongst each other. And you've also had, see, Siphon Filter even acknowledges the fact that Snake was an agent that's got old and grown out of the field, and that, which they put into another Tom Clancy game. But to have the two come together, to have Snake inside of their world, or even vice versa, to watch them either work against each other or work together and use their different skills to infiltrate different areas to get to the end of whatever challenge they had to face. For me, I just think it'll be a really cool mix-up between two legendary games.
The codex receiver directly stimulates the small bones of your ear. No one but you will be able to hear it.
Got it. Okay, I'm ready to go.
Something's on its way into the darkness. We are one. Into the darkness. We almost run. Into the darkness.
You have found our fortress. You have returned my daughter. But what is it you seek?
Dragon Age and the Elder Scrolls series. Now, these are two games that actually follow a very similar path in the whole fantasy, dragons, the whole concept of the age and that. But for me, I think what I'd like to see is a Dragon Age style game actually based in the Elder Scrolls world, because the Dragon Age games were great. I mean, I think the original one was the absolute best out of all of them. It just had all the right elements and the character development and that to it, which I feel is a lot more in depth than anything Elder Scrolls has ever really offered. Whereas Elder Scrolls is pretty much solo based on the person, yourself, that you're playing as. So I'd love to see those relationships being developed in an Elder Scrolls world and watch the difference with the magics and the abilities of Dragon Age, and watch how they overcome the challenges that the realm of Tamriel would offer to them.
It's me, Mario! Hello!
Splatoon meets Mario 64. This is a really simple one for me. Just Splatoon is such a fun, vibrant game, and so is Mario 64. So for me, it would just be a case of being able to play the Mario 64 stages, but with Splatoon instead. So you could have your turf wars, etc. Around Princess Peach's castle. You could go to the Bob-omb world and do your capture zones, or having to shoot the balloons, or again just turf war, good old-fashioned paint battles of Splatoon, but set in the universe of Mario 64. I just feel like it would just be a really cool thing to have all these really big worlds, and there's just so much you could do with it. It would just take a lot longer, I think, than what you've got already to do it, but it would be so satisfying just to paint an entire Mario world.
Jill, come on! Chris, this way! Make for that mansion!
Devil May Cry meets Resident Evil. Now, this is obviously a closer to the skin one, because, fun fact, Devil May Cry was the original Resident Evil 4, and they were trying to flesh out this world, and they built up a lot of Dante's character. Then they decided it wasn't the direction they wanted to go. The character didn't seem to fit right. Luckily, that gave us the very first Devil May Cry game. Now, I know that Dante would be overpowered for the Resident Evil universe, and they would have to probably ramp up some of the characters and make them a lot more powerful for it to fit. But outside of that, I'd like to think it would basically be Resident Evil just roided up to the gills. it would be an incredibly high-speed version of Resident Evil, hack and slash, shoot and destroy kind of thing. And that sounds like a lot of fun to me. So, SimCity, what a game for making your own things. And it's always been generally a very serious game, as in it focuses on real life so much. But I couldn't help but think, with the colourful world that is the Mario universe, all those iconic backgrounds you've seen in games, all the iconic things you've had, the blocks, just everything about Mario, you can picture it, the castles, the trees. What if you could control all that? What if you could build your very own complete Mario universe? And I don't just mean a level creator like we've had before in some games. I mean building entire kingdoms based in the Mario universe like you've had in the games. And you get to be the one that decides what every single one looks like, how it operates. And then you could put inside of that the level building like you had in Mario Maker. But to be able to do it on such a grand scale like SimCity would offer to you, it just sounds like a whole lot of fun.
Face the invisible, the impossible, the unspeakable. Welcome to the greatest playground, history.
Hitman and Assassin's Creed. Now, I wouldn't expect to put a Hitman base into the old style Assassin's Creed games, but I feel like this would also cover a lot when they talk about how modern assassins would operate if they brought it into the modern world, even if they brought it into between World War II and the present day, just the 19th, 20th century timeline, to be able to bring in the skills of Agent 47 and place it in the world of Assassin's Creed. So we're still staying with the assassins themselves, but having 47 as an agent, say, of the assassins, or working as part of the Assassin's Order or for them, hunting down Templars and having to retrieve information using all the skills that he had from World of Assassination. I just think that would be an amazing game. But then again, I love both these franchises. But to see 47 take down a few Templar leaders and then steal their documents and exfiltrate without being caught at all because he's used all the disguises and that, it just sounds like a whole lot of fun.
The ICA? Does your handler?
You're not real. You're Cloud. I have a favor to ask of you. Run away. You have to leave. You have to live.
You bastard! Yeah!
Hold on to that hatred.
Moments ago, there was an accident.
As long as there's Tiberium on Earth, not as a serious threat.
You cannot let this happen. Philadelphia was only the beginning. Our forces will spread like a great plague across the earth.
Command and Conquer and Final Fantasy. Now I know there's a lot of people that hear that combination straight away and be like, how the hell would that work? But for those that have played through a lot of Final Fantasy games, they'll actually know there's a lot of armies in Final Fantasy. There's the Magitech armies, there's the Royal Guards army, there's the armies that you've got in Final Fantasy VIII. So you've got obviously the Galbada, the Seeds, you've got the different places, the gardens in there. You've got Shinra's army, you've got the King's army from Final Fantasy 15. Obviously, every single Final Fantasy game you pretty much go through does a mage army, and you could put all these into a Command and Conquer style game, but with Final Fantasy. It would just be like a different type of Final Fantasy Tactics, but with armies and doing those styles of battles, building up your bases, choosing what team you want to have, and obviously your commandos could be main characters from the game series itself. I put this together in my head when writing this list and thought it'd be really cool, and then as I sat and thought more about it, I just thought about how awesome this game would actually be as a Final Fantasy fan. Imagine charging your own army forwards and then having Sephiroth as your secret, your agent that you could build up to get onto the battlefield, or fighting with having all the seeds deployed and you can have Squall go out there, or even Cypher and fight as your special commander. Final Fantasy fans, there'd be so many different things they could put in this that would appease people from practically every Final Fantasy game that's ever come out. It just seems like it will be a proper match made in heaven.
Y'all gotta look at the bigger picture here. Nothing worth fighting for was ever won without sacrifice.
What have you been up to, Blasco heads?
Shooting, stabbing, strangling Nazis.
In the first age, in the first battle, when the shadows first lengthened, one stood. He chose the path of perpetual torment. In his ravenous hatred, he found no peace, and with boiling blood, he scoured.
Doom meets Wolfenstein. Now, with this, I am thinking more towards the modern Wolfenstein games, but the idea of being like a different version, like having the Doomslayer, but with the mechanical type armor, a bit more than like what you had in Doom and Doom Eternal, but fighting through Nazis and the mechanical machines just with brute force and power, but with the sort of guns that you have in Doom compared to the like modified dystopia type World War II weapons you had. When I think about it in my head, especially as like I'm actually obsessed with Doom, the fact that just going through it would just be absolute carnage, especially with the gory kill system, whereas Wolfenstein is very high paced and direct violent as it is, really cranking that up to 11 with the Doomslayer, and just picturing sort of a version of his armor, you know, with the blacked out completely with the red bits on it and stuff. It would just seems like it would be a perfect game to play. So for me, that had to take second place on the list. As you can hear as I'm doing the video, I literally fanboy out about the whole Doom in Ultimate Realms element. There's so many games I thought about to put this with, but Wolfenstein was the one that really stuck in my mind.
For he alone was the Hellwalker.
Everybody needs a place to call their home. Everybody needs someone to call their own. Even when you're lonely, no, you're not alone. You're one of us, one of us, one of us, one of us. That's what friends are for.
Let's go, pal.
And topping our list off is The Sims and Fallout. Now, this was a tough one between second place and first place for me, but this one I really like the idea of, and this is because obviously we had Fallout Shelter, which was a really fun little game to play for a while, building your own shelter, and we've had building in the Fallout games that people have just stuck to so much. Like obviously, you know, my partner Game of Ghoul, for example, she's fantastic at the whole building side of Fallout. I suck at it. I stick a few things in the ground and a few things that are brightly coloured and they look cool to me, so that's good. But for those that really get into the building side of it, The Sims could give it an extra element. I did think about this being the combination put with SimCity earlier, but I feel obviously building up that much in a Fallout universe would kind of be against how it is because everything's supposed to be ruined. But the idea with The Sims themselves, being able to build these just little areas and your shacks with the materials that you can find, and the fact as well you could then get all these people, you could actually build a life with the settlers and they're all your friends and your family and things like that. And obviously a part of this that got me thinking was, for those that remember way back in the day, you had the Sims when they were on the island living, Sims Castaway, now my memory serves me right, and that game was awesome for this sort of thing. So to bring this into the new age with the Sims 4 technology and the Fallout universe, survival would never be so fun. Anyway, thanks for watching the video, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments below that you'd like to see and what you thought of this list. As always, thanks for your support and thanks for being here with me. And as always, I'll see you all out there.